Hey everybody, this is Britt with Vine Dresser Lawn and Landscape. Today, I'm going to go over mowing recommendations for warm season turf grass, specifically Bermuda, Zoysia, Centipede, and St. Augustine. And so I went to NC State's website, and they have lawn care calendars for all the warm season turf, for all turf that grow in North Carolina. And they've also got Carolina Lawns, a guide to maintaining quality turf in the landscape. So I took the calendars for Bermuda, Zoysia, Centipede, St. Augustine, and the recommendations in Carolina Lawns in the mowing sections of those of all those articles, and I kind of piled it all together and headed it up between each individual turf grass. And so we're going to go over that. But I could sum it up real quick. If you've got Bermuda, Zoysia, or Centipede, you want to be mowing it as often as possible and as low as you possibly can without scalping it. And the reason I say that is St. Augustine likes to be mowed 2.5 to 4 inches tall, but all the other ones want to be mowed short and often. And St. Augustine wants to be mowed often as well, but just because it grows aggressively. But you can see how this grass right here, this is Zoysia. You can see how it has a runner, and then off of that runner, new runners are formed, and then the blades form off of the runner. You can see the blades coming off right here. So the more often you mow it, the more it's going to spread. And also, the lower you mow it, the more it's going to spread. So if you're mowing it low and often, you're going to get a thicker, denser turf, and it's just going to be healthier than if you're mowing it haphazardly or just whenever you feel like it. With that being said, we could sum it up and make it real quick. Mow often as possible and as much as and as low as possible. But so starting with Bermuda, mowing recommendations for Bermuda grass. So the initial mowing, this is about the March time frame here in Wilmington. Mow when the lawn first turns green using a rotary or reel mower set as low as possible without scalping. Mow before the grass grows taller than 2.5 inches. This removes excess dormant tissue and sets the desired mowing height for the year. So if you're mowing your Bermuda at 2 inches, you want to mow a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch lower, and you want to get all that dead or that dormant tissue out of there so that the new grass blades can get sunlight quicker, and you're going to have a quicker green up than if you just leave the old dormant tissue sitting there till May or June. So you want to mow in March, 1/4 to a 1/2 inch lower than what you're going to mow for that season. Get the dormant excess tissue out of the way, and that's going to let sunlight come in, and you're going to get a quicker green up. They suggest grass clippings. Leave the nutrient-rich clippings on the lawn unless they are unsightly or clumped. If you're mowing often, you shouldn't be having clumped grass. Grass is a clump on the lawn. And so grass is a clump on the lawn, meaning you're taking too much of the blade off at one given time, and you're not mowing often enough. And so that's where that comes from. Unless you get heavy rains coming in, if it rains 3 or 4 days straight and you just got explosive growth, you might get some clumps then. But on a regular mowing basis, you shouldn't have clumps. Mowing height. The optimal performance for Bermuda is 0.75 to 1 inch using a reel mower. A rotary mower with sharp blades set low without scalping is also acceptable. Uneven ground makes it mowing below 1 inch difficult with a rotary mower, so 1 to 2 inch height is recommended with a rotary mower. So, all right, so if you're reel mowing, 0.75 to 1 inches, and I would say 1/2 inch to 1 inch for a reel mower. For a rotary mower, 1 to 2 inches. And mowing frequency. Mow at least twice per week, especially at the lower heights. Bermuda grass can be maintained between 0.75 to 2.5 inches, but lower heights require more frequent mowing to prevent the scalping. If you're mowing your Bermuda grass bi-weekly and you come in and it's nice and green and then you mow it and it turns brown, it's not because you're mowing it too low. It's because you're not mowing it often enough. And so as a company, it's hard for us to mow your lawn twice a week, but we can definitely, and I would advise that we be mowing it weekly. Real mowing, 0.75 to 1 inches. Rotary mower, 1 to 2 inches. Mowing recommendations for zoysia grass. All right, same with the Bermuda. Initial mowing. Mow in March when the lawn first starts to turn green, and you want to mow it a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch lower than how you're going to mow it that season. And we're going to remove the excess dormant tissue. That's going to let sunlight come in and let the new leaf blades green up quicker. And it's just going to set the tone for the season. Grass clippings, leave the nutrient-rich clippings on the lawn. And when you're thinking about leaving the nutrient-rich clippings on the lawn, think about that. I've heard NC State say it over and over again. You're going to get all the organic matter your turf ever needs by fertilizing and then mowing your grass. So you shouldn't need topsoil to come in to change the quality of your soil, because if you're mowing your grass often enough, all those nutrient-rich clippings are going to fall back into the soil, and it's going to build up the organic matter naturally on its own. Mower type. For fine blade zoysia, you want to use a real mower, if at all possible. With the wide blade zoysia, rotary mower is fine. Frequency. Mow at least weekly to maintain the desired outcome and prevent the grass from becoming too tall and difficult to manage. And so if you're getting clumps in your lawn, it most likely is because you're not mowing it often enough. NC State suggests to mow it weekly. Mowing recommendations for centipede grass. Mowing height. All right, just like zoysia and Bermuda, beginning of March, you want to what everybody calls scalping the lawn, and you want to mow it a 1/2 inch lower than what you would normally mow that lawn, and that's going to get all the dormant tissue out of there, and it's going to help you with green up. Mow when the grass is 1 inch tall and no higher than 2 inches. Do not let the grass get taller than 2.5 inches. And so your centipede lawn shouldn't get higher than 2.5 inches. And so how could you do that without mowing weekly is my question. Thatch prevention. Centipede grass can become thatchy, especially when mowed high and infrequently. And I think that's what a lot of the issues around here in Wilmington is most people don't want to have their grass mowed except every other week, or what we call bi-weekly. And that creates thatch issues in centipede lawns, which then creates pest and disease issues. And when that centipede's coming out of dormancy the next season, you see these issues, and it's really mowing habits. If you were mowing weekly, you would probably have a lot less of the disease pressure and the pest pressure. So maintain a height of 1 to 2 inches for centipede grass. I know guys that are mowing centipede at a 1/2 inch with a real mower, and it looks phenomenal. Frequency. Mow at least weekly to maintain the desired height and health of the grass. And so far, all these grasses need to be mowed weekly. Bi-weekly, you're going to cause problems by mowing bi-weekly. The rule of thumb is you only want to take off 1/3 of the blade at any given time. And so how would you be able to keep your centipede grass under 2.5 inches mowing bi-weekly and only taking 1/3 of the blade off? Mowing recommendations for St. Augustine grass. Just like all the other turf, initial mowing. Before green up, remove the dormant grass leaves by mowing 2.5 inches with a rotary mower with newly sharpened blade. So St. Augustine, all the other turf you want to kind of scalp. St. Augustine, that first initial cut, 2.5 inches. And then for the mowing height, maintain between 2.5 to 4 inches tall. The higher mowing heights are more tolerant of shade and drought conditions. And so if you've got St. Augustine in a heavily shaded area, you definitely want to mow that taller than all the other turf. St. Augustine likes to be mowed 2.5 to 4 inches tall. Frequency. Mow frequently, weekly at 2.5 to 4 inches tall during the growing season using a rotary mower, leaf clippings on the lawn. I wouldn't suggest real mowing St. Augustine, and I would suggest mowing it weekly. St. Augustine does grow fast, and if you're mowing it bi-weekly, once again, you're probably going to get into thatch issues, and you're going to get into more disease and more pests because of leaving it long and taking off so much of the blade at one time. So here's the links to, and I'll put these links in the description of the video for Carolina lawn, Bermuda grass lawn maintenance calendars, Zoysia, Centipede, and St. Augustine. All this information came from NC State. I hope this gives you a better idea of what heights to be mowing your turf and how often to be mowing it. If I could sum it all up, I would mow Zoysia, Centipede, and St. Augustine as low as possible, as often as possible. And then, Zoysia, Centipede, and Bermuda as low as possible and as often as possible, and St. Augustine 2.5 to 4 inches on a weekly basis. If we can help you out in any way, let us know. Have a good day.